The Sanskrit is santosha. And the idea being that no, you won't always just have the warm, fluffy butterflies and roses happening in life, right? But whatever is happening, you can choose to be content with where you're working, with what's going on. And I often think that gets misconstrued as this concept of toxic positivity, and I don't believe that that's what it is at all. That we can be content even with the messy, difficult stuff. That we can experience tough stuff in our body and have a hard time with it, and have emotions around it, and still choose contentment with where we are. So we're not going to avoid where we are. We're going to be where we are. So it has to do with presence, and it has to do with not trying to push away what's there, but being willing to work in that place. So as we come to our mats today, that it's your laboratory, right? Your mat is your chance to recognize what's going on and choose to work with what's going on with you today. So that's the beauty of it, I think. So let's come to our comfortable seat. And as you take that comfortable seat, this is the very first place where you get to check in with what is truly there. What is going on? Where are the aches and pains? Maybe that's in the low back. Maybe your body feels remarkably open today after a weekend. You know, whatever is there, you get to tune into what it is. And as you let your eyes close and begin to focus on your breath, you can utilize your breath as that tool. Your breath is your tool to help you register what's there and also choose contentment. Full inhales and exhales. Starting to let the exhales grow a little longer. Starting to let the inhales be that natural response to the exhale. As you press your exhales out just a little bit more, this is a way of tapping into the nervous system and tuning into that rest and digest response that helps us to choose contentment. As you connect your hands together at heart center, gently press palms. Lift up and open through the shoulders. And as you exhale, bow toward your heart, honoring yourself for taking the time to be here, present on your mat for yourself. As you softly open your eyes and release your hands down, gently draw up and back with your shoulders a few times. So a little rolling up and back, allowing yourself to check in with whatever's going on through shoulders. Think of front of the chest, think of shoulder blades. And then keep your shoulders up and back. Take your hands to your upper thighs at your hip creases. And as you press down, lengthen your sides, lengthening from hip to armpit, shoulder blades engage. And now bring both sets of fingertips to the floor beside your hips and push. And as you lift up tall through your spine, through the back of your neck, the crown of your head, take a full big breath. And just notice the length. Notice from the tail to the crown. Then reach across with your right hand to your leg, your left knee, your thigh, wherever it needs to be for a little gentle twist. Press down with fingertips behind you, lengthen your spine again. Exhale to draw your low ribs in and take your twist just a tiny bit deeper. Inhale, come back into center. And lengthen first, lift up through your sides. Exhale, take that twist over to the right side. And again, your hand can be wherever it needs to be. Press down with your right fingertips behind you, lengthen your spine. Exhale, low ribs draw in to help you twist. Inhale, come back into center. And as you bring your fingertips to the floor in front of you, take them a little ways away from you. You can be up on blocks here, but we're going to do a little more stretch through the shoulders. So sometimes that's a little easier with your hands on the floor, but you choose. If it's easier right now for hands on the blocks, then first we'll take a cat and cow. Inhale, belly tilts forward, extend your heart. Exhale, press back with your spine, and take 2 more deep breaths here. Then inhale, extend your heart forward, and now we're going to take this shoulder stretch, pass your right arm through your left, and you might come down toward an elbow, you might come down toward a shoulder, you might come down toward the side of your head. So any of those options here, wherever that is for you, you can walk your left fingertips forward if you would like, and take a couple big breaths here, drawing the low ribs in. Maybe that helps you to twist a tiny bit more. But notice whatever the stretch is for you. Take in the information. And without any kind of judgment, that's a part of choosing contentment, make the choice to stay where you are, to go a little deeper, or to back off. Then inhale back up to center, pause with your hands on the floor or on blocks, and move again through a cat and cow, allowing for that fluid movement through your spine, the tilt of the pelvis forward and back. One more big breath. Then inhale, extend your heart forward, pass your left arm through to the right side, and again, elbow, shoulder, side of your head, wherever that works in your body. You can always walk your right fingertips a little further forward. That drawing in of your low ribs sometimes helps you move a little bit deeper, but you get to tune in and notice without any judgment. Take in the details and decide if you need to back off a little bit, or go a little deeper, or stay put. Then inhale back up to center and rise all the way back up to your tall spine. Switch the cross of your legs, coming to the less comfortable cross for yourself, and shift your sitting bones. And now hands come to your upper thighs, give a good press, lift your sides, shoulders up and back, and then take a moment here with your ear to shoulder movement to check in with the sides of your neck, maybe into the traps. And then as you come back into center now, we're going to take our twist again. And as we take this twist, we're going to stay for just a couple of extra breaths. So press fingertips down behind you or beside you. And take your right hand across to your left knee or thigh, wherever that works in your body. Press down with your left fingertips, and as you lengthen your spine, exhale, low ribs in to help you twist. Take a couple more big breaths and use the breath to help you grow longer and to twist a tiny bit more. One more deep inhale, long, full exhale. Inhale, back into center. And exhale, taking that twist over to the right side. Press down with your fingertips behind you, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, low ribs draw in to help you twist. Couple more big breaths here. Use your breath to help you find that length, find a little bit of added twist. One more big breath. Inhale, come back into center. And now reach your left arm out to the side. Plug in with your left shoulder blade. Your palm is facing forward, thumb is up. Keep your shoulder blade hugging onto your back and start to take your arm across your body to wherever it is that your shoulder blade can stay on your back. So it won't come all the way across because then your shoulder blade goes whoop. So wherever that is that you can stay engaged. And then with your right arm, you're coming up and under to give a little hug, but not to pull it further per se, giving that stretch, but keeping shoulder blade engaged. Take a big deep breath. And then release your arms, right arm out to the side, draw shoulder blade onto your back, and then draw your arm across your body again to that place where your shoulder blade can stay engaged. Left arm comes under to hug it in a little bit. Again, shoulder blade engaged, lengthen your spine, take a deep breath. And then gently release and roll your shoulders back. And then keep your shoulders up and back, tuck your chin down, shake your head no gently toward the ground, and give yourself a little more information about what's going on with your neck, your shoulders, your upper back. Then come back up to center and shift forward onto hands and knees. And from hands and knees, as you settle hips back towards your heels, walk your way forward with your hands, take a couple big breaths, and settle just a little bit further into your child's pose as you take your exhales. Use your child's pose to sense what's happening for you through your hips, your low back, your shoulders, taking in the information with no judgment. Then inhaling, rising up to hands and knees. Set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Toes tuck, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog pose. And with a good bend to your knees, send your sitting bones up. From lats, push out through your hands. And then sway your hips a little side to side, giving that length from hip to armpit. And now walk your way forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. Feet are inner hip distance apart and parallel. Knees bend, take an inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold over your legs. Hands to hips, press back on hips, lift up and open through your shoulders, and inhale, rise, coming all the way up to stand. And now we're gonna find a wide stance on our mats. So if you need to turn sideways, you're welcome to. And the other part of this is bring blocks if you would like. We'll get a little bit into our side angle and our triangle poses. But then as you walk your feet out wide, turn your toes forward, think of pinky toe edges parallel to each other, and then lift and spread your toes. With your hands at your hips, lift up through your chest, opening up through your heart, shoulder blades engaged. Little bend to your knees, push your hips back, your heart forward, and fold. As you fold over your legs, you can let your head tilt down here, or you can stay up a little higher. Entirely depends on what's going on in your body for you today. And then add a little bit of bend side to side with your knees. And as you take this side to side, you can notice for yourself if you feel relatively symmetrical on both sides with whatever's going on, or if you have one side that's tighter than the other. Again, not to judge, but to take the information in. And then back to center with your hips, tilt up with your sitting bones, hands to your hips, and inhale, rise. So from here, turn your right foot out. And bend into your right knee, reach your arms for your warrior two. Take a big, full, deep breath and open your knee up. Think of your back knee, your left knee with a little micro bend to support your joints. Settle in, take a full big inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepen as much as is right for your body today. Then elbow to your front knee, top arm reaches up and over your ears. Stay bent into your front knee and opening up, or your right knee. Turn open with your shoulders, put both shoulder blades on your back. Take one more big breath. Then push into the floor with your feet, rise all the way back up with your torso, hands to your hips. Work your front leg towards straight, right leg towards straight, and then shift your hips back so you have a hip crease in your front leg. Wrap your right glute down and under so your knee is turning more open, and then extend your heart out over your right leg. Torso is turned. From that place, you can have a block on the inside or the outside of your leg. You can have your hand or your elbow up on your thigh. So lots of options there to tune into what your body needs, how your body feels, choosing to be content with where you are working in your body today. So take another big breath, turn open with your heart, and if it feels good, you can stretch. Top arm to the sky. Then push with your feet and rise all the way back up. Hands come to your hips, turn your feet parallel and turn left foot out, bend into your left knee and open it up. Lift your ribs, your chest, your heart. And as you take a moment in your warrior two, again, give your back knee a little attention and give it a little micro bend. Full big deep breath. As you settle in from hips down, also lift up and open through your heart, your chest. Then elbow to your left knee, reach your top arm up and over your ear if that's in your practice. Again, keep opening with your left knee and bending into it. It's really tempting once we change the angle of our torso to unbend your knee a little bit. So keep that bend, keep the knee opening, keep a little micro bend with your back knee. Big breath. Then push into the floor with your feet and inhale, rise all the way back up. Work your front leg or your left leg towards straight. Feel free to grab a block for your triangle pose, but shift your hips back. You know, that little kind of hula dance that you do with your hips here. Shift your hips back, create the hip crease, turn your knee toward the pinky toe edge. And then extend your heart. Maybe take your hand down to your block, elbow or hand to your thigh, whatever your body needs, what's right for your body today in this place where you get to choose to work, choose to be content. And maybe stretch, top arm to the sky. Big breath. One more full deep breath here. Then push into the floor with your feet, top hand to your hip. Inhale, rise all the way back up and turn your feet parallel. And from here, a little bend to your knees, lift your chest and your heart. Exhale, hinge at the hips to fold and take the depth of your fold today. Remembering that contentment with where you are. So if that means propping yourself up a little ways to give your hamstrings and low back a little more care, then please do. Full, big, deep breath. Sitting bones, lift upward, little bend to your knees. Take another full breath right here. Then hands work up to your hips, bend your knees, squeeze your glutes to help you rise all the way up. And then walk your feet together and come to the front of your mat. And then from the front of your mat, take a look down at your feet and set them, lifting and spreading your toes and rooting down. Turn your palms open, lengthen through your spine, close your eyes for a full deep breath. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, bent knees to fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. Plant hands and step all the way back to a downward facing dog. Take a full breath. Rotate elbow pits forward and push from lats out through your hands. Bend your knees until your sitting bones up. And then think about pushing in both directions. Sitting bones lift, hands push. Inhale, come forward into your plank. Knees on the ground if that's the best thing for you today. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Extend your front. Exhale, bend elbows and lower down. Inhale, curl up and open to whatever variation of cobra suits your body and your needs. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Take a full breath. Then lower to knees, push hips back to heels. Take a child's pose. And then gently push yourself up to your seat and come all the way down onto sitting bones. And we're going to take a hip opener that we've done a couple of times, but I think it's been just a couple of weeks. So find whatever you have for a prop for out in front of you. And we're going to set our right foot onto our prop on the edge so that we have an opening through our knee. Flex the foot, and your left leg is your base. You can sit up on something here if your low back is rounding back. But for me, this is a great pose that helps to release the low back a little bit because it works through some of that stuck stuff through the hips. Move your sitting bones back and you might have a different experience. You get to tune into what that is for you. Lift your ribs, your chest, your heart, and then open and close your right knee. So you have a flex to your foot, you're pushing your heel down, and then opening and closing through the knee to work through the hip socket. And now, keep it as open as your body is ready for, and then start to hinge at the hips to fold. And if you find that folding just makes you round through your low back, then maybe stay more upright, okay? So find where that is for you. You might reach over the top of your block. You might reach underneath your right leg with your right arm. It's entirely where you are today with your hips, your low back. Take a big, deep breath. One more big breath here. Take an inhale and grow longer through your spine. Full exhale. Maybe settle just a tiny bit deeper, maybe not. Inhale, rise back up and switch legs. Right leg comes back to the ground. Left heel to the edge of your block or prop. Flex your foot. And from this place, use your fingertips to help you sit taller. And then begin to walk your hands in front of you if that's in your practice. They can always stay behind you here if you need. But with a flex to your foot, start to open and close your knee. Recognize for yourself what the difference is between your sides. And then keep it open as far as it's ready to go. Reflex. Long spine. And then work your way as deeply into this fold as your body is ready for. And again, without any judgment here, just noticing what is. And if you come to a point where your nervous system tenses up and your body tenses up, then back off a little bit. Come to a place where you can take a full breath, and even that your breath can help your ligaments and your muscles and all the things that might tense up to soften and release a little bit. One more deep breath. You might find that you can lengthen and deepen, or you might find that that's just not in your practice today. Inhale all the way back upright, footprints to the floor. And set your prop aside here, and then lengthen your legs out straight. And from this place, fingertips beside you to help you sit tall. Push your heels down until your knees lift. Take an inhale and tilt your pelvis so your belly's coming forward. If there's not a lot of movement there with your pelvis, then maybe inch your feet in a little bit so you have more of a bend to your knees. But find where you can tilt your pelvis towards your legs, belly towards your legs, and then you start to hinge from your hips and fold. Maybe reach out and hold your feet. Maybe stay with fingertips at the floor or at your legs. And where that is for you, take a deep breath. Can you let your nervous system calm as you take a bigger breath? And then inhale, gently rise all the way back up. Bend your knees, walk your feet in, wrap your arms around your legs. This is as close to your body as you need to be with your feet. Tuck your chin in and take a deep breath. Let your back body fill. And then gently lower yourself all the way down onto your back. And from your back, knees draw in. And we're going to add a little extra movement here before we rest in Shavasana. So first, rock side to side. Then open knees up wide, aim feet toward the ceiling, and then hold on where it's the most comfortable and where you can keep your sitting bones tilting down. So you might hold your feet, your shins, or the back sides of your thighs, and where that is for you. And as you start to rock side to side, start to extend left leg to the left when you rock to the left. Then right leg to the right when you rock to the right, adding that little bit of hamstring stretch here. And how far you extend entirely depends on how tight your hamstrings might feel or how tight your low back is. And then come back into center now. Soles of feet draw together, holding onto your feet with your hands. If that's in your practice, you can always set your feet on the ground. But then open knees up wide. Think of reaching out through your thighs. And then adding a pivot on your pelvis, on your sacrum, so that your knees are moving in opposite directions. And now set footprints on the ground and start to find your best resting pose. Find your Shavasana, setting yourself up with something underneath your knees here, maybe if your low back is tight. Maybe setting soles of feet together, knees opening with blocks underneath your knees. Add whatever you need to show yourself a lot of compassion in this resting pose. Begin to take a deeper breath. And add gentle movement into fingers and toes. And as you're ready to bend your knees and roll over to one side. And slowly press yourself back up to your seat. And with hands coming to heart center, take a moment with your eyes closed to tune back in and notice whatever is there now for sensation, for feelings, thoughts. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.